I am curious about your thoughts on Dana Holgorsen. And I mean, Matt Rule, there's a lot of familiar names, right, from this staff versus the one that he had at Baylor and even at Temple, but there's been some changes. Making that move to move on from Marcus Satterfield last November is certainly one that I probably think about on a daily basis when I'm talking about Husker football. What do you think about the offensive coordinator that Nebraska is getting in Holgorsen?
First of all, I love Dana. He's one of my favorites. I covered him when he was at University of Houston. There's nobody quite like Dana Holgorsen. You guys, I'm sure, when you've sat in the press conference with him and listened to him, he is honest 100%. He will tell you how he thinks. If he thinks a guy stinks, he will tell you he thinks the guy stinks.
Yeah.
Most coaches don't do that, at least at the college level. But Dana does not suffer fools. He loves to coach ball. He loves offensive football. To me, he is the closest thing personality-wise of all the Mike Leach disciples. Dana is the closest to Mike, to me, in terms of personality. And I don't mean he doesn't tell the long stories and have the weird curiosities that he talks about like Mike did, but in terms of how he thinks about football and how he conducts himself. Like, he shows up to the office. He's there to call plays to help that team win. And he's not going to apologize for who he is or what he says. He has standards. He's going to tell you what he thinks, and he's going to be honest. And I think that's really all you can ask. And if some people don't handle that great, sometimes it can be hard to work for him or play for him because it can be hard to take that criticism, but it's constructive. He's not telling you because he thinks you're a bad guy. He's telling you because he wants you to get better. He wants to hold you to standard. He wants to win. But I think this job has been such a great thing for him because toward the end of his time at Houston, we talked about all this change in roster management and how you build a program. The first 20, 25, 30 years of Dana Holgorsen's coaching career, I guess 25 years from he started in the mid-1990s at Iowa Wesleyan, it looked a lot different than it does now. So like a lot of coaches who have been in this a long time, it was hard to reconcile how much had changed. And I could tell, I think, at the end of his time at Houston, I never sensed that Dana was having fun because what Dana loves at this heart of hearts, just loves to call plays and coach ball and win football games, especially on the offensive side of the football. I got a sense toward the end that, and you know it just with any other head coach, being a head coach now is not about calling plays and actual teaching and coaching ball. It's about managing an organization.
Yeah.
And I don't think Dana loved that part of it. Like, he did it well. Like, he was ahead of the curve on transfers when he was at West Virginia. They were taking tons of transfers. They were minding the JUCO markets. Will Greer was one of those, hey, let's take a transfer, sits out a year, and then he plays for us. Turned out to be great. He was ahead of the curve on all that stuff, but he didn't love it. And he didn't love how you had to turn over the roster so much. And also where they were at Houston, where they were at the group of 5 level for a while. And then obviously the power 4 level, they were not getting the elite guys, and they were having to fight and claw. They didn't have the NIL money to retain some of their guys, or they didn't have the NIL money to win on some of these transfers who, guess what? Coach loved him. Player loved the coach. We got this guy this close to being committed, but guess what? The Power 4 program down the road offered him twice as much as you can. And so some of that stuff I think really ate at Dana, but when he got let go at Houston and he needed somewhere to land, I think this was such a great place for him to land because Matt Rule knows who he is. Mm-hmm. He has a plan. He has a vision. And also, Dana, from what I understand, from what I heard, doesn't have to be out recruiting a lot. And I know he wasn't one that loved to be out on the road recruiting. So he gets to be in the office, work on this offense, work on getting these players better, work on getting this scheme up, and so that this team can maximize itself and become a really good offensive football team. Nobody, in my mind, has questioned Dana Holgorsen's offensive acumen. I certainly don't. Because to me, even when he was at Houston, he went back and forth on calling plays. To me, he was at his best when he was calling it. When he was calling it, you could tell. When they played Texas, I think it was his second to last year, or maybe it was his last year, in 2023, Texas's last year in the Big 12. That was a Dana Holgorsen game. Like, you watch how they played and you watch how they schemed up. That was a Dana Holgorsen game. And to me, that is when he's at his best, or when you see what he did at West Virginia at the end of his time there, and when they flirted with the Big 12 championship game. That is Dana Holgorsen. And to me, he loves that part. He's passionate about that part. And he's going to give you everything he's got because he wants to win the football games. And so I think he's a great fit, because, especially for this era, because now what is asked coordinators now is different from what is asked coordinators 10, 15 years ago. And I think with what Rule has put around him, with a young quarterback who I think we all know is uber talented, I think there's a lot of potential. I'm really excited to see what Dylan Raiola has this year, because now having a few games at the end of last year, spending all off season with Dana, I'm going to see a lot of mesh, and I'm going to love it because it works. Go watch you can probably find a YouTube clip of Dana running mesh for like a half hour because it works. And he teaches it in a really good way, and there's tweaks, and they can add, different wrinkles to it from a formationally, or with motions, or with how we execute it, how we run it. I think Raiola is ready to take off, because I think you can see the raw talent. You talk to coaches who played him. The guy has a lot of poise. There's a lot of maturity there, and I think he's really got a chance to take off with Dana Holgorsen. So I'm excited to see how this offense comes together, and I think Dana's comfortable. I think he's happy. From what I understand, I don't think he has a car. He's like walking to work every day. Again,
correct.
Very Mike Leach. Mike Leach used to walk to work every day. So I think he's a great fit for the staff, and I'm really excited to see what he has in store, because I think this offense could really take off with him being the full-time guy all year long.